Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Fissette. On this episode, we get to meet the lead singer and songwriter of Camera Obscura, Tracyanne Campbell. In this chat, Tracyanne and I talk quite a bit about the brand new Camera Obscura record, which is sort of like a comeback album because it's been over a decade since their last one, Desire Lines. This new one is called Look to the East, Look to the West, and it's pretty much what you would want and expect from a new Camera Obscura record, but it definitely sounds like it's the year 2024 and the band is trying to push a little bit, and it sounds great doing it. Tracyanne and I get really deep into this record, including what led to them reconvening, and how playing on Belle And Sebastian's cruise ship music festival is a huge part of what compelled them to get back into the studio. We also touch on a little bit about why they left in the first place, why they left the music world in the first place, some of which had to do with the unfortunate passing of their longtime keyboardist, Carey Lander, back in 2015. But we talk this new record, we talk what it was like coming back into the music world, especially now as older people, now that they've been doing this a long time, and what that means for them, and what it might mean for them in the future. So thank you for listening. It was a joy and an immense pleasure to speak with someone I've been listening to for many, many years. This is me meeting Camera Obscura's Tracyanne Campbell. Sinus infection. My whole face hurts, so that's where I'm at right now.
Oh no. Well, I if it makes you feel any better, I'm week 4 of a sore throat.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Is there any explicable reason for that?
I don't know. There seems to be a thing going around. My kids has got it as well, and people are saying there's something called the 100-day cough.
Oh geez.
So I really hope it's not going to last for 100 days, or I might be in trouble the nearer we get to touring.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't think we have 72 days left until your tour.
I don't think so.
Oh no. Well, hopefully that goes away soon. And hopefully my face clears up. It's like I've never had it like this. It's hurting my teeth.
Do you know? That's horrible.
Yeah, so
That's horrible.
I'm here and I'm very excited to chat with you. Thank you for coming and hanging out for a little bit.
You're welcome.
I am drinking tea, so if you hear me like sipping, that's what I'm doing.
Slurping away.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink some tea as well then.
Yeah, my lemon ginger tea.
Well, that's all you can really do for that kind of thing.
Yeah, really. So besides the cough, how are you faring these days?
Yeah, I'm good. It's all been like the old days, back to being busy and playing lots of email tennis with my manager. And yeah, I'm just trying to prepare for the tours. It's been a while, so logistically it's a bit of a nightmare trying to find the time with everybody to rehearse. But I'm good. I'm looking forward to, it's exciting to have a record out soon, and it's really exciting to be thinking about playing shows. A little bit scary, but mainly just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would imagine it's quite a mix of emotions. I mean, we should say early on, mostly the reason for your time with me today is because of that record. There's a brand new Camera Obscura record coming out, Look to the East, Look to the West, which is out May 3rd on Merge.
Yeah.
And it is the first one in quite a while. Is it strange at all to like be back in it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, I don't know, it's a weird thing because it doesn't feel like I've really been away anywhere. But of course, to the public, I guess it seems like I have, or we have. I mean, I felt like I tried to keep quite busy and did make a record in between the last Camera Obscura record and this one. But yeah, it feels a little bit. It's a bit like shall I grab for? It's a bit like riding a bike, you know.
Mm.
It's a bit sort of, oh yeah, I remember all of this, but it still feels a little bit exciting and new, if you see what I mean. Because
Yeah.
we haven't toured for a long time, and as I say, it's been a while since I've been caught up in so much band activity.
Right.
But it is what I've done forever, so it feels nicely familiar.
Yeah. And I mean, you say it was a bit like riding a bike. Is that sort of, and that mix of that with the newness, is that how it felt getting back into the studio with the band?
It did and it didn't. It felt a little bit scary to contemplate. But mainly it felt very positive, It felt wonderful to be in the middle of it when we were actually, there was a lot of logistical problems, getting to the point of actually getting in the studio.
Mm.
But once we were actually in the studio, I just felt personally like that's where I feel most comfortable.
Hmm.
I feel most comfortable in myself when I'm in a studio making records, and it did feel a bit like we were meant to be there
Yeah.
together. It
Yeah.
felt familiar and nice and cozy and right.
Well, that's nice because I mean, we're saying it's been a long time. It's been about 11 years since Desire Lines came out.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
a good stretch.
yeah, and after that amount of time, I mean, so many bands don't ever get back into the studio, and then just simply agreeing to get back into the studio doesn't mean it's going to all, lock back into place. So it's nice that it felt sort of good in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, yeah, we didn't make music for a while together, but it's not like we really consciously decided that that would be, circumstance kind of dated
Mm.
um, how we spent our time in the last 10 years.
Hmm.
It wasn't really it wasn't really like we made a conscious choice to stop making music together. We just had to stop making music together. And I think after such a long time, there was an appetite for it again. And I had, as I said before, I'd made a record with Danny Coughlin, so
Hmm.
I'd kind of get my hand in a little bit, and had my eye on making another record, whether it was going to be a solo thing or another record with Dan or whatever. But I was glad that everybody else in the group, that they were up for it, because time has moved on and people's lives are busy. And
Yeah.
but I think we've always, no matter what, um, we have this ability, no matter what's going on with us personally or with each other or whatever, we do have an ability and sort of create music together that we like. And I think that's come across. We did have a really nice time spending time together. It'd been ages since we'd had the opportunity to do that together, and I think sometimes when there's a break or something's taken away from you and you don't necessarily take it for granted or assume that you're going to be able to do it, then it can bring a new bit of uh, you know
Mm.
and optimism.
Hmm.
And I think it did that for us. That
Yeah, I
that
mean, I f
breakaway.
and I feel like that does sort of come through on the record, this sort of like uh the comfort or the joy of all of you being like in a room making a thing together again. I feel like that does come through.
I hope so. I'm glad you're saying that because it was very joyous to make. We genuinely had a really good time
Hmm.
making the record. We really genuinely enjoyed putting those songs together. And You could argue that it was maybe the most, in a very strange way, one of the most, if not the most, enjoyable records to make,
Hmm.
in a way. They all, it's hard to say. I don't really like to, and I shouldn't really, think about them in that way, but I do know that it was genuinely enjoyable for me and it felt very warm and, very loving.
Hmm.
And everybody was very happy in each other's company. I really
Yeah.
felt that. And you don't always feel like that, when you've been a band on the road together for 20 years, you can't enjoy every moment of time with each other. And there's certainly been times in the past when I haven't felt that kind of closeness. And I did feel it when we made this record.
Hmm.
It was really necessary that we were on the same page in that way and that everybody was there because they wanted to be
Right.
and for no other reason, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't some contractual obligation forcing y'all to come back together. It was that you
Yeah,
wanted
it was a
to.
choice. It
Yeah.
was a real genuine choice.
Yeah.
Like it was, I'm not saying it's never been a choice, but it should be a choice. But you can forget that sometimes when you're in the middle of it. But it was genuinely a need and a want and a desire from everybody to do this, and I think that really does come across.
Yeah. So since well, let me back up. So roughly like how long ago would you say this record was completed?
Oh, I'm rubbish at timelines, by the way. So I could say anything to you now, and other people might be sitting going,
Was it
I
was it a
don't think
long
so.
time?
Well, let's see. We played. We were asked to play Belle and Sebastian's Boaty
Oh,
Weekender,
yep.
and I believe that was 2018, 19.
That sounds right.
So I started to write songs around then,
Hmm.
and the record was completed. Where are we now? 2024. It must have been completed by 22.
Hmm.
So it took, from the beginnings of playing that gig right up until probably the last session that we did. So it was like a 3-year period, and there was a couple of songs that were kicking around that I'd written but hadn't really done anything with. So
Hmm.
one of the I'm trying to think. I think there was a song. Only a Dream was written. That was the last song to be written, and that wasn't written until we'd actually done some overdubs on some of the album already.
Oh wow.
Because the album was done in 2 or 3 different settings because of aesthetics. So I think we went down to Rockfield and I can't remember exactly, but we did maybe half the songs. And then we did some overdubs, did the rest of the songs after.
Hmm.
So it wasn't done in one session.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
was the Bodhi weekend, was that sort of the impetus for getting that thought in your mind that you wanted to get back to making a record?
It really was, to be honest with you. It was a real big shifter
Hmm.
um, for me. It really affected me. And I think the whole band, we were sort of slightly. I think we hadn't played for a long time, and being asked to do that was something we really had to think about. But in a way, it was a no-brainer. It's going to play a nice gig with our friends and
Hmm.
with bands that we loved, and it kind of felt like we belonged on that, that lineup. And I think that when we went and we started rehearsing again, we had such a nice time rehearsing.
Hmm.
We enjoyed it so much. It was a big deal for us to start again. And we had such a lovely time that we met so many people and reconnected with old fans and met new fans. And I think we just realized, oh, this is really a real thing. This band is a real thing that's meant stuff to people. It means a lot to folk, and I just felt very inspired by the. I don't want to sound too soppy or anything, but it was like I nicknamed it the Love Boat because it was like everybody was just nuts about each other. It was
Yeah.
just very warm. Um, uh, yeah, just it was. I had such a sweet time, and I wrote "Baby Huey Hard Times" on the in my head on the plane on the way back.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, I wrote that song, and I suppose, yeah, I just started writing other songs. I'd started a couple, but probably inspired by rehearsing.
It's kind of funny in full circle ish that Stuart and Belle and Sebastian inviting you guys onto the boat is part of what sort of inspired this new era of the band. Because I mean, you kind of came up with them.
Yeah, we
Um,
did.
I
We
know
did.
that Stuart had a hand in the production on the first record.
Yeah.
Um, you guys were very
And the
often,
second, a little
oh, and
bit.
the second too.
Not the
Okay,
production, but he didn't. Yeah, he was kind of like a unofficial producer in the first
okay,
record, but he was very modest and didn't really take any proper credit or official role there, and he did help out with arrangements. And I mean, the fact is that the Bells have always been, from the beginning, champions of ours.
hmm
They've always helped us. The first from the get go.
hmm
When we just started out, they used to let us rehearse at their place, and Richard used to drum for us, and Stuart was always encouraging and helping out and getting us started. Gave us our first gig to
hmm
play. We played the Bowley Weekender. That was one of our first shows. That
Oh,
was their
wow.
their first festival that they curated
Yeah,
back in like what 99 or something, 98. So
yeah,
yeah, it was a sort of it kind of made sense that to me, after everything that had happened, that it was the right thing. It felt like the right thing to do. It was like felt like we were in a safe pair of hands with
yeah.
that band. Yeah.
And you mentioned when you played the shows on the Bodhi weekend that you were sort of inspired by the realization that yeah, this band did mean something to people. I mean, I can speak for myself. Like I probably started listening to Camera Obscura around Let's Get Out of This Country, and
Yeah.
and then went backwards and forwards with you
Mm.
guys. And it's been 11 years since Desire Lines, but it's not like you're still on my phone, you're still on my computer, so like,
Well,
you
that's nice
know,
to know.
like your music is still part of our lives. Were you nervous? Were you guys nervous that you'd try to come back and like we wouldn't be here anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I can't
Yeah,
deny it, and I never
yeah.
used to think about stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I did feel like that in a sense. I mean, I knew that from playing the boaty that, and we did a couple of warm up shows before we went in the boat, and they were, we were really well received. We had a great reception from people, and there was a lot of warmth and love, and that's apparent. And I think we've always had close relations with our relationships with our fans. Like we've always done all our social media. We've always, there's not like a big label or a big management company or barrier in between us and our fans. We're pretty laid back, down to earth people, and
Mm-hmm.
and we're not very different from our fans. In the boaty like really proved that. I was a bit anxious about going on a boat and feeling a bit sort of claustrophobic, or
Yeah.
a bit kind of anxious about having lots of people around me. But actually, I was just in a boat with lots of people who would have be my friends, really, you know, who like the same bands that I like, and I think that brought it really to home. Oh,
Yeah.
we've all grown up together.
Yeah.
Here we all are in a boat having a brilliant time, and I think therefore making a new record, yeah, you do think, are we relevant?
Mm-hmm.
Are we some kind of ancient old fogies that nobody's going to be interested in? But basically, I think we wanted to make the record for ourselves.
Right.
And I think you have to have a quiet, you know, sort of confidence that the people who like your music are going to like it still,
Right.
And I think there was a few times making the record where I kind of thought, oh, what is this music we're playing now? Do we sound like we're, you know, some band desperately trying to, you know, become relevant? But I don't think you can really think about stuff like that. We're doing it because we want to do it. We're not doing it hoping that that we're going to get to the top of the charts or whatever. I mean,
Right.
whatever will be, and we're fine with that. We've always been fine with that, and we've always been lucky enough to have a fan base. And I think just I think all the touring that we've done and all the work that we've done is really, it, the proof is there that we've done all that. We've done a lot of groundwork,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we've got a fan base, and a very loyal fan base. And yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
I hope people are going to still be there. I hope people are going to turn up to the shows and get babysitters and dog sitters and all that stuff that they're going to need these days. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
because
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's true that I think your base is quite loyal. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but even as an observer, like any time in the past few years, if you guys would post an update somewhere,
Hmm.
everyone would like it and comment on it and be very excited. And so there, from an outsider's perspective, like I was sure that whenever it happened, if it happened, that it would be well welcomed. And I do think the singles anyway. I mean, I've heard the record, but most people have heard just the couple of singles. I think they've
Hmm.
been well received, which is never a given.
No, it's
Um,
not. You can't. And I've never expected
right.
anything, and I think that they've been so well received. I've been delighted by the
Yeah.
radio play that we've been given and the reception. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. So let's dive into the record a little bit. Look to the East, Look to the West is the name of it. Can we start with the title track,
Hmm.
which is the closer of the record.
Hmm.
It's a lovely sort of mid-tempo, sort of classic Camera Obscura track, I'd say in some ways. Um, I'm curious, first of all, where that title line comes from.
I'm not really sure where I got it from, to be honest. But I feel like I wish that I had a better answer for this. But I can just sort of tell you a little bit about writing the song, and
Yeah.
it was during lockdown or during COVID times, and
Hmm.
when the streets were deserted, and of course you were allowed to go to the supermarket and all of that, and I think, of course, the band had started to go on this journey again of trying to get the band back in the studio, and things kept closing it down, kept closing our momentum down,
Hmm.
with the rules changing and all crazy rules about how many people could do this and who could fly in a plane and all this stuff, because
Yeah.
we were, from the get-go, we were using our producer to come and help us build the songs up ready for recording. And he was in Berlin and he was sometimes in Athens, and a lot of the time the flights were cancelled. And anyway, um, I guess the band was really in my mind because, for a long time after Carey, I was sort of, yeah, I was a wee bit lost, to be honest. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
anymore and what my identity was and what I was going to do with myself. I'd become a mother in that time and felt very much wife, uh, and I wanted to feel like I had a purpose other than that. I wanted to go back to work, if you like.
Hmm.
There's all these things preventing me from getting back to work. And don't know, I sort of stopped at the traffic lights one time, going to the supermarket, and there's this like group of young um, students, young Asian students, uh, and it occurred to me, and they were all sort of standing in a corner. I was like, "What are those kids doing?" And they were catching Pokemon in the corner, and I was just thinking about them and about them being stuck in Glasgow, not able to get back to their families because of the flight bans and all of
Hmm.
that, and I was just thinking about the bigger picture about where people are going and what they want to be doing. And I was thinking about Carey and her not being there anymore, and how, I'm not sure I'm making much sense, but I think I
You're
was
making sense.
kind of felt like it was a bit of a crossroad, and I was just like, what am I doing? Where am I going? Like, what are my choices going to be?
Hmm.
Um, I was sort of just acknowledging the passing of time and looking to the future, but also looking to the past,
Mm.
So, and just kind of trying to think about being open minded. And um, yeah, I felt like I was sort of looking for something, looking for answers.
Mm.
So it's kind of about that. Yeah, I hope that makes
That no, it does make sense.
I'm
Um,
never sure.
yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
I mean, I've been dealing with brain fog for the past week, and I feel like I'm not making sense half the time. But that makes sense.
Okay.
So on the other end of the album, the other song that stood out to me was the opener, um, Liberty Print, which
Oh yeah.
to me sounds like the most, I don't know if you'd agree with this at all, but to me it sounds like the most unlike anything you guys have done before.
I do agree. I think that's why it's the opener
It like had to
as
be there.
well. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I think that there's part of that is we we got a new keyboard player,
Hmm.
and she, I guess, brought a lot of her own style and her own musical ability and musicality. And um when I wrote the song, she we sort of, I can't remember exactly how we did this, but she obviously, was given free reign to do whatever she liked. And of course it sounds very keyboardy and
Mm.
electronic in a way. Um, and I love the fact that it doesn't sound how people might expect. It's not typical Camera Obscura.
Hmm.
And of course, we are not trying to uh, purposely think outside the box. We're not doing concept albums, or anything.
Yeah.
We're not a band that sort of thinks, right, how can we really change this time? We just do what we do.
Hmm.
So it's very organic. It's just a people get together and they play music, and we just come up with what we come up with, and that's what being in a band is about, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, being in a band with a new person brings a different energy, and I think that's really what happened there.
Yeah, because it is sort of synthy. There's that sort of
Hmm.
the mechanized beat
Hmm.
for part of it, and then that sort of brittle like wash sound. I don't
Hmm.
even know what to call.
Hmm.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I mean,
But
it's very brittle or something, and quite
yeah,
hard or something. And the song didn't start like that.
yeah.
My song, when I wrote it and gave the demo, was just me with a sort of very reverby electric or acoustic guitar even. A
Hmm.
lot of the songs, that's sort of me, how, they can change. I think there's actually a demo of that going to be released at some point.
Oh, cool.
So people will be able to hear how the song started and where it ended up.
Yeah, and I mean that I'd be interested to hear that because it is such a different sort of lane. It doesn't sound like it's not you guys. It just
Mm,
sounds new, and
yeah.
that's an exciting way to open for me, a record after, a long gap is to be
I
like,
think so.
yeah, we're still here, and now we sometimes sound like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you mentioned, having a new member that wasn't on your past records, I mean,
Hmm.
that has to impact the sound.
Of
Um,
course, it must.
yeah, and I mean, the record as a whole even has sort of like a bit of a country
Hmm.
flair to it, which I mean, you guys have touched on before.
I'd say country influences have always been there.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Definitely.
but I do feel like on certain songs here, or like the first single, "Big Love," with the pedal steel,
Hmm.
it is a little bit bigger, I guess.
Yeah, I think this time we made the record with Yari Appeline, who we did "Let's Get Out of This Country" and "My Modern Career" with, and
Mhm.
Yari, and we weren't interested in making the same record. We weren't about to go to Sweden and create some big crazy wall of sound. We just didn't want to do that. We wanted to make it a bit more intimate,
Mhm.
and we wanted to logistically actually also. We just needed it to be simple, and we needed to rely on ourselves,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to be relying on string sections and too many other musicians coming in. And so my husband Tim plays pedal steel, and I think there was kind of chat of him maybe, oh yeah, maybe we could try the pedal steel out in a couple of songs. And I think Yari just got him into the studio one night and didn't let him leave till about 5 in the morning. So he came up with all this
Well,
pedal
it works
parts.
very well. It works
Yeah,
very well.
yeah, that sounds great.
Um, and very, very quick question about Pop Goes Pop. Is the Taken by Trees line a Victoria Bergsman reference?
It is.
Okay, thank
Victoria
you.
and I are old friends,
I thought so.
and she visited me a couple of summers ago, and Victoria and I have known each other since Let's Get Out of This Country was recorded,
Hmm.
and we're both in our late 40s now, and well, she's mid 40s, I'm late 40s, and we both got children, and just it was just a bit a sort of parallel of our lives, I guess,
Hmm.
in a way, about how we're still plodding on, trying to make music, and yeah, and about the difficulties of it, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was just kind of not a little nod to her.
yeah. Is that what that song's about in general?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's other stuff in it, but in general, it's a sort of,
Right.
well, look at us, we're still trying to do it,
Yeah.
we're still getting on with it. And Victoria is, she's tough. She's a tough cookie, and it's not been easy, I don't think, to survive in the music business, and sort of do it easily.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a difficult thing to make a living from, shall we say?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a kind of it's a nod to Victoria and her.
Yeah. I
Uh,
thought so.
yeah,
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, because when I heard that line, I was like, hmm.
yeah,
Um, so can we talk for a minute about Carey?
yeah, totally, of course.
So I bring her up for many reasons, but the most pressing at this exact juncture in our conversation is that there is a song directed at her
Hmm.
on this record, Sugar
Hmm.
Almond. That's the
Hmm.
name, Sugar Almond?
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, you say her name at the end of the song.
I do.
Um, I'm curious, maybe this is a weird question, but I'm curious if that last line of her name was always there.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, I sort
It
of
wasn't. It
could
wasn't always
feel
there.
that in a
Yeah.
sense.
Well, it was. I think we did. I mean, we recorded live, and that song was recorded just with I in the room with
Hmm.
Yari and the engineer and the guys sort of in the control room. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to sing that song too many times.
Yeah.
I didn't want too many takes. It's quite a brutal song. I think it was a song that I'd written when Carey died, and
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, well, there's a song about Carey, and you know, and I never really thought that anybody would necessarily hear it, or maybe I would release it, or maybe I wouldn't release it. I don't know. It was quite a private song actually,
Yeah.
and but then when I started writing songs for the record, it just felt that it was important to write about Carey and to have her sort of with us in a way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that song was recorded. I think maybe that was like the second take. It might have been the first take.
Mm.
I had a bad throat as well again during recording, and I wasn't really doing a lot of singing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because or like over and over again because my throat was bad, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just stuck that in at the end,
Yeah.
spontaneously.
Was it a tough decision ultimately to include that song?
It wasn't a tough decision to include. Before we started recording, we decided which songs were going on the
Mm-hmm.
record. Usually back in the day, we'd maybe have like two or three over, and then we'd decide. But yeah, we had a lot of songs. We had more than enough songs for an album this time. But early on, we decided with Yari what songs belong together.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part, I know I said a little earlier that I wrote Only a Dream a little bit later on, but um, for the most part, we decided so we knew it would go on.
And piano led, especially as stripped down as these are, piano led songs are not necessarily something that have happened a lot on Camera Obscura songs. I
No,
mean albums. Was that always going to be the mood for this one? It had to be
um,
this way.
to be honest, no, not really. I think I wanted we did. Um, I was probably the only person that wanted to do a band version. Um, and everybody kind of, I suppose, went along with it, and you know did a version for me because I didn't want to initially I didn't want to just be alone singing about Carey. I wanted it to be a expression about from the band.
Right.
um but when we did the band version, nobody else everybody else said it just wasn't as good,
Mm.
you know and we decided that this version was the right version to release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so
It doesn't really need anything else
no,
said in it apart from the lyric and the melody, I
right.
guess. We didn't want to be I didn't want too much focus to be on that song or the sentiment, or I didn't
Hmm.
want it to overshadow the record as a whole.
Yeah.
Of course, it's important. It's an important thing because that's happened to our band and that's part of our band's journey. But more importantly, I think I was trying to write a hopeful record about our band and our band's journey, and about celebrate the fact that we'd made it. We'd survived
Yeah.
whatever had been thrown at us, and here we were getting on with it again. So I didn't really want that to be the focus, but of course I understand why it is a focus. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's not like every song is specifically about her, so I don't think it becomes the focus. I think it works as a penultimate song. It's just
yeah,
this little ode
yeah,
to Carey. And I mean, for those who don't know, Carey was your keyboardist
yeah,
for a very long time, who quite unfortunately passed away in 2015, I think I want to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I mean, I don't think it overshadows anything. I think fans will, especially longtime fans, will appreciate the song.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so, and I hope it won't be too, you know, too much,
Yeah.
too much for them.
Is this not a song you think you'll perform live?
Oh. I don't know, never say never, but
Yeah. It'd
we've
be it'd
got
be it'd
plenty.
be hard.
I think so. We've got plenty of songs to play, and some songs just don't need to be played live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be one of them.
Yeah.
We'll
And
see.
and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
You have another piano ballad on the album you can sing if
exactly,
you want one.
exactly.
Um, so in general then, since it has been so long since Desire Lines, and then, I mean, you even said like you guys were ramping up in the late '90s, and Biggest Blues Hi-Fi came out in the early 2000s. It's you guys have been around a while. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think? Is there anything you can think of that just like has not changed about you guys as a unit, as a group of people who know each other and make music together that still kind of holds true today?
I mean, it's almost like being in a sort of weird dysfunctional family, being in a band for over 20 years. And I'm sure you'll understand, and most people will, that with that kind of group of people together, there's a lot of repetitive in jokes and chat.
Hmm.
And I kind of like and don't like, but I'm sort of being facetious. I mainly like the fact that when we get together, we fall into sort of certain roles and talk the same nonsense, and I don't know. I, we're kind of don't really know how to describe us. I think I remember at Carey's funeral, somebody got up and did a sort of speech about her, or talked about her, and said that she remembered that Carey told her that for a band we were weirdly close, and I think we kind of are. We do feel like a sort of weird family that uh, can't stop getting together at Christmas or something. You know, I'm not sure.
It's probably more good than bad though.
It's more good than bad. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, do you notice any change in yourself, like as a songwriter, musician, since then that you think is,
I mean, I'm just always trying to get better at what I do, and
yeah,
whether people agree with that or not, it's really irrelevant because, you know, I I don't write millions of songs, but I still feel the desire to write them, and
hmm,
I want to, even if it's in a small way, I just want to write songs that are, you know, mean something to me and have sincerity, and I want to not repeat myself too much, and
hmm,
yeah, I go through little bursts where I don't feel like much of a songwriter, and then I'll go through little periods where I'm trying desperately hard to be a songwriter. At the
yeah,
minute, there's a bit of a drought, but I've been quite busy with other things, so that's understandable.
yeah, for sure. And
But
you have other things to worry about right now.
yeah, and I think in general, actually, I would say that you know, having had the big break or the hiatus or whatever you like to call it, I think in general I'm just a bit more grateful, and I'm less hard on myself. I just want to and lighten up a little bit and enjoy it a bit more and not take it so seriously. I don't mean, you know, not taking it seriously like it's not important. I just mean,
Right.
yeah, just have a little bit of faith that we're good enough, and I'm good enough, and just that's just a general thing, though. I think maybe when you're pushing 50, you start to think about these things about being a good person or the best
Hmm.
kind of person you can be, and it it's the same for me being a songwriter or a
Yeah.
musician or however I'm described.
Yeah. Is there any inkling at the moment that we should expect you guys to stick around?
Well, there's no inkling, or there's nothing to suggest that we wouldn't. It's just
Okay.
going to happen. As
Right.
I said before, we wrote plenty of songs for this record, so there's more than enough to get on it. Uh, I think for us, because other people in the jobs, and most of us have got children now,
Hmm.
um, it's just really about what we can manage, and I think as long as we're having a nice time, as long as we go on tour and we have a good time, I think there'll be every reason for us to think, okay, so how can we do this again?
Yeah.
How can we get this next? Because as I said before, we're doing it really for ourselves and people want to come along for the ride. That's wonderful. Um, so yeah, I think if there's a desire to get songs out and for people to play their instruments and be in a room together, then I
Mm.
think I would like to think we could do another record, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we will be here if that's the case.
Lovely. That's good to know.
And that's a lovely optimistic note to end our conversation on.
Exactly. That's what we want. Optimism.
Yes, optimism. Now more than ever, perhaps.
Exactly.
Um,
It's necessary.
yeah. So let's reiterate. Look to the east. Look to the west. The brand new Camera Obscura record. I want to say it's the 5th,
3rd of May? 3rd
sixth.
of May? Is it the
Oh,
3rd?
I was thinking of 6th record. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think
Sixth record.
I think it's the 6th record. Yes, it comes out the 3rd of May on Merge
It's
Records.
the 6th record, yeah.
Yeah, now we're playing numbers game. We're gonna confuse everybody. But thank you very much, Tracyanne, for talking to me. It has been such a pleasure.
You're very welcome, and I hope your cold gets better
Thank
soon.
you, and I hope you don't have a 100-day cold.
Oh God, me too. Please.
Yeah, I'm sending you my good thoughts.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.